Hello guys, how's it going? This is the Amateurist guy speaking to you live. Now, today is the 6th of June, Saturday, and it is quite cloudy. And I believe, oh, someone else is coming already. One moment, please. I just have to be conspicuous, you see. Anyway, today is the 6th of June, Saturday. It's quite cloudy, and I believe we are in this, a rainy season over here in Japan. They call it Tsuyu, by the way. And to me, it's kind of surprised why a disproportionate number of people, they sort of lament about this season. It's kind of surprised me. It's like as if they find this in a rainy season a nuisance. And the part of me that understands this, it's probably difficult to sort of dry your clothes in this wet weather. But I can understand, that's my sympathy for you. But to me, you might call me a contrarian, but it doesn't really matter. But I find this weather. Oh, sorry, someone else is coming. Yeah, there she goes. It's like, and I find this weather none other than a great blessing from the great nature. And why do I say that? Well, to begin with, I'm a primitive guy who finds, it doesn't really matter how great the civilization we are living in, how smart we are, how smart I am. We are almost made up of water, 70% water, if I got the number right. And it's like, without water, as stupid as this sounds, we will cease to exist. So, in this rainy season, I would like to take this as an opportunity to be humble before the great power of the nature. And what that means, in other words, just saying this out of my compulsion, and it's like if the nature wants to get rid of us, that would happen. So, today, what am I going to talk about today? Well, today, I think I am going to joke about money. Ooh, money. Another sensitive subject. Now, as usual, it's like, before I delve into, joking about money, I would like to I'll be more than happy to be able to, take this as an opportunity to share my thoughts on money, yeah? So, here's a nice bridge. So, what is my thoughts on money? So basically, I'm a primitive guy, right? So, my view of money is none other than a token of appreciation. What do I mean by that? Well, it's because it's a token of appreciation. It's something that is paid to you for, performing or doing some, a certain amount of labor or service that is quintessentially appreciated by people who pay you the same amount of money. Sorry, someone is coming. This is going to be inconspicuous. There they go. Yeah, so because it's a token of appreciation, as I said, it is an appreciation that is passed on from one person to another in such way that it eventually puts food on your table, if that makes any sense. But it's not just it's not just food on your table that you need. There are many many other things, but just for the sake of argument today, that is just my way of saying for right now. So, here's where it gets serious, in my thoughts about money. It's like, there are, some people, if not many people out there, who make a colossal amount of money, just by the click of a button, right? And of course, there are, perhaps equal number of people out there who lose that's, the colossal amount of money with a click of a button, clicking the wrong place, I guess. It's like, so, what's the concern of that? What's wrong with it? And as you might say, that's just someone else's life, the someone else's way of living, right? But that is where I seriously question. Because, and my view is that if you have a disproportionate abundance of money in this world, right, the money ceases to become uh, an ideal medium that represents the appreciation. And it's like, nowadays, rather than treating, thinking the money, as a medium of appreciation, it feels like money nowadays, I don't know, it feels like something that is tossed at people, right? And it's like, here, you can have this, right? Take it and piss off. It's really, it feels more or less something that shows your power, rather than appreciation. It is showing your power against people who you're paying, right? So it's sort of completely changed. Oh, someone else is coming. So, what's the repercussion of all this? What's the concern? Well, I want to let you know that, look around you, and the repercussion that they're everywhere. It's like, to begin with, I would say the elephant in the room is that everything's so expensive nowadays. It's really difficult to even put food on your table. It's not just food on your table, but it's my way of expression. And that is so, even if you're employed or not, right? That's crazy, right? And it's just like, as if the money has its own mind. It's like it ceased to hold. Oh, sorry, someone else is coming. It ceased to be an adequate and appropriate medium to represent appreciation before greed, and it ceased to hold an adequate value for us to buy anything before greed, and it eventually decided to teach us the hard way about the importance of appreciation. And today, I would like to, take this as an opportunity to introduce you to someone who you might already know, and his name is Stephen King. Now, I know him, you know him. I guess most of the people who are watching this video, you know who he is, yeah. But for the benefit of those, who don't know him, right? Now, he is the master of the horror literature. He's in the United States. I think he lives in Maine. And well, today I'm not here to talk about horror literatures, no, but there is a book I would like to introduce to you that was written by him. It's called If It Bleeds. Yeah, I'll repeat. It's If It Bleeds. You can Google it and find. I don't know how much is it. It's probably $20, but you could find it on Amazon or on Google. And what I would like to say is, there is you would find a passage written in his book that goes like this. It says, how does it go? Behind the great fortune, there is a crime. Let me repeat that. And behind every great fortune, there is a crime. You think about that for a second. Now, when I read that passage, it sort of automatically it made me think about what Jesus said about. Well, I'm no Christian, but we all know Jesus, yeah. And it reminded me of what Jesus said about rich people not being accepted in heaven. Well, from my point of view, that's kind of extreme. I mean, you can't sort of, it's as if all the rich people are criminalized by that way. So you're criminal just by being rich. That's just too extreme and myopic to my point of view. But my somewhat softer interpretation of all this is that perhaps a quick money or easy money is a bane of you, and it's not just a bane of you, but it's also a bane of the whole civilization. Today, I did promise you about telling you a joke on money, and here's how it goes. So once upon a time, there was a funeral, and the amongst the funeral attendees, there were a Briton, yeah, and a Scotsman, and the Irishman, right? The three heroes of the joke. And You just gotta love these guys. And you know, the first guy to stand up to deliver his last message to his deceased friend was the Briton, right? And he said, he stood up and said, "Oh, he was a good friend of mine, and I owe him $1,000, but that's because he's passed away. That doesn't mean that it's going to stop me from honoring what I have to do." So he pulls out $1,000 from his pocket and shoves it into the coffin. And everybody was impressed. Now the second guy to stand up to deliver his last message to his deceased friend, it was the Irishman, and he also said the same thing, almost the same thing. He said, and he was his good friend, right? But he owes him $1,000, but that because today's his funeral. That's not going to stop him from honoring what he has to do, paying it back. So he pulls out $1,000 from his pocket and shoves it in to the coffin, and everybody was impressed. Now the last guy, the Scotsman, who's the last guy to deliver his message to his deceased friend, and he said the same thing actually. He said, "Oh well, he was a good friend of mine, yeah, and I do owe him, just like the other guys, I do owe him $1,000. So and that's not going to stop me from honoring what I have to do." So he goes up to the coffin, right, and somehow pulls a checkbook out of his pocket and writes $3,000 and shoves it into the coffin and takes the $2,000 change out.